Join us, MrTruck.com, for truck reviews, trailer reviews, and accessory reviews. Mr. Truck here with the latest and greatest in trailer accessory review. This time it's shocker hitch. They've got an airbag cushion for your gooseneck, an airbag cushion for your bumper pole. Isolates the truck from the trailer. Great products. You know, the truck and trailer almost joined together. That ball is pretty solid, so you get to feel each other. But you want to isolate that. You don't really want to drive in the truck and film what the trailer's feeling. Your horses probably don't want to feel what your truck's doing. This way they're separate, and it makes them ride better, makes it quieter, makes a better cushion between the two. And you know, you're talking about living quarters and all those things that go on the front of a horse trailer, you know, with the glued in cabinets and the mirrors and all that. Ken with MrTruck.com and another review. This is accessories. I finally got around to doing my brakes on my trailer. Bought this trailer from Jayhawks. Of course, I brought it back to have them work on my brakes. Now these brakes, about 5 years old, a lot of miles on them, and I could hear it dragging, so I knew it was time. So they did the whole thing. We put new back plates on it. You know, it gives you the magnet, the drums, the springs, all that stuff. And new hubs with new bearings in them. It was really a cool job. And you'll see that in this video report. But that's cool. Now I'm ready to go another 5 years, I hope. But, you know, we got 14 ply tires, 7,000 pound axles. We use the heck out of this trailer. It's one of my favorite trailers between this and the dump trailer. I don't know which one I'd choose, but I love this trailer. We use it all the time. We haul vehicles, we haul loads, we haul my Jeep in it. And let me show you one more thing that we did. And coming up in a video, you'll see me fix all this wiring mess. When I pull this in the snow and the slush, this back set of wires on the fender just get covered in snow, and then it pulls it out of the socket, and you got a big old basketball of snow bouncing around back here. So I'm going to put cable on it, put a rubber grommet on it, and tuck all that in tight this week.
And yes, there it is. Taking a cluster of wires and organized them. See if I can get a close-up of it. Yeah, that's my armored loom up out of the way of where these tires throw the snow and the mud, and turn my wiring on these back fender clearance lights into just a pile of snow balled stuck to some wires. So this should help, because I always have to drive in the snow and the slush in the winter at times. It's not like I can just tell people to send me trucks when I want them. They always come during blizzards, during snowstorms. And when this particular snowstorm was here, besides losing 2 clearance lights, I also was very slick. So I didn't use my foot brake. I used the manual override on the brake controller, and that really helps control the vehicle instead of locking everybody up and going sideways. So I always do that when road conditions are not good, when they're slick. I use the brake controller, and that keeps me from skidding, keeps the truck from skidding. Just puts the drag on the trailer, so it slows me down. And my other improvement to my trailer is this Lion Energy lithium battery. And I again put the offset terminals on there so I can do like a quick disconnect for my winch, is what those cables are. Goes to my 12,000 pound winch, so I can take it out when I need a little bit more room on my trailer. But this battery's got like a lifetime warranty. You can actually stay charged without using it for like 2 years. Now let's see, it's got this button which tells you it's got 60%. I have not charged this battery yet. There's all those cotton pick and fuse blocks for that winch. But this is a Safari UT 1300. So it shows that it's 105 amp hours, 1340 WH, whatever that is, a lithium ion phosphate battery. It's interesting stuff. And these little wing nuts comes with short ones and long ones. That way you can tie everything on top of the terminal, which is nice. And then you have my offset here, so I can tie off the winch separate. But pretty cool. So that's Technical rated capacity is 105 amp hours. Maximum capacity is 104.5 amp hours. There's your internal resistance, your standard charging current, 45 amps. Maximum charging current is 100 amp. Max charging voltage is 14.6. Maximum continuous discharge contents 150 amps. So there's all the specs on it. 23 pounds, about half the weight of a regular deep cycle RV battery. And that's why I went to this. You can see it doesn't quite fit my battery box, it's a little smaller. But anyway, this weighs about half of my RV deep cycles, and those RV deep cycles, I go through them about once a year. So you get $150 a year forever and ever, and it's not good. Yeah, these are expensive, lifetime warranty, and they're, they don't corrode the cables the same, and they're a very interesting battery. So I put one on my dump trailer. Earlier, I put one of these lithium-ion batteries from Transwest on my dump trailer, and that is such a good option. Of course, I have a Red Arc battery management system that keeps it all charged up and gives it extra amps. When I dump in my trailer several times a day, I'm always charged.
Don't go away, Mr. Truck.tv. We'll be right back.
Well, we're trying something new. This is a slideshow. This is how we're replacing the brakes on this trailer. Now, these are my old brakes, and we'll pull them off, get them out of the way, and we found an easy way to do this is let somebody else do it. So I had to run the camera. And here you got the old washer that holds the nut on to the D end of the spindle. Of course, channel locks is the easiest way to do this. Take the big nut off in the washer, and now you've got the hub off. And you can see what's there is the brakes are pretty gummed up. The magnet was really warped. And so, normally you would take all that stuff off, springs and the shoes and the magnet. Easiest way is just buy all that. You buy the back plate, it's called. It's the 4 bolts that hold it on to the axle. And then you've got all the new stuff. And this just shows the guys at Jayhawk taking it apart for me. They're taking the wires off. Now there's 2 wires on each wheel that run your brakes. And they're clipping those puppies off and getting ready to add all the new stuff. And that's what's cool is all the new stuff, new brakes, new springs, new magnet, new bearings, new seals, so that I can run another 5 years without having a problem. And I haven't had any problem in the last 5 years. Now these you'll see the greaser in the end of the spindle. These are called EZ-lube axles from Dexter, and they're also self-adjusting brakes, which I really, really like. But all that means is, like every 6 months, I'll run 1 axle at a time up on my car ramps, and then I'll pump in 4 Zerk squirts as I rotate the tire. That way it doesn't blow the seal out and goes in there. There's a hole that goes all the way through the spindle to the middle of the bearings and shoots the grease up between the bearings. So here's the new shoes, the whole back plate. You got all that stuff. You don't worry about those rotten, rusty springs and the screwed up magnet and the shoes. So then there's the new brake drum. And this is so nice. Don't have to pack the bearings. Don't get all greasy. Don't have to pull out the old seal and try to make sure I get the new one in there just perfect. It's all together, and it's a new drum, instead of trying to grind the old drum down. This is just so much an easier process. Dealing with new parts. I love it. And you just slide it back on the spindle, and that spindle is shaped like a D. So there you go. You can see the outside bearing. And then you can see the grease zerk in the end of the spindle there. That's where you do the greasing. And I really like this. There's the D washer. It goes back on there. I don't know if this is a new one or not. And then that holds the bearing on. And then your nut goes next, and that nut goes against the washer, which goes against the bearing. And then basically you just screw it on there, hand tight, and you back it off like a half a turn. And then that way everything rolls well. But you don't keep it tight. You got to back it off a little bit so that you have easy rolling, which really works good. Oh, I just love this. This is the little clip
that holds it all together. It slides over the D part of the spindle and clamps on the outside of the nut. Now it's all in there. You rotate it to make sure you know it's tight enough and loose enough. Then this cap goes on the end, and that cap, you'll see, has that little rubber, what do you call it, a rubber seal type thing. And below that rubber is where the grease zerk is. All you do is pop that little rubber off with a screwdriver, get your grease zerk in there, and do all that. So there you go. Now you just got to torque down the wheels. You do this 4 times and you're done.
Well, here's my cool rig today. Bright red Durango RT. And of course my tilt trailer. And my YJ Jeep. Of course, we're using the Gen Y adjustable receiver hitch. We happen to have a weight distributing hitch on it. And I use that for this Durango. Makes it a nice stable load.